Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So we're experiencing a pretty heavy wind day today. I'm obviously not gonna work in it, but there are a few things that I'm noticing, like a tree that needs to be staked up really fast. And well, let me just show you. This has been going on for hours now. Just the nastiest of winds. Super awful drying winds, and I saw this hawthorn over here. It's really rocking back and forth. I think it's time to get some stakes on it. Also, with this wind, I'm concerned about this particular evergreen over here. This is a subalpine fir. It's already had, I wouldn't say a rough winter, but it's had a very dry winter, and I really don't want this storm to do any more damage to it, so I'm gonna get the hose on it. I'm gonna let this water run for quite some time, just to make sure that these roots stay nice and hydrated. Got a little friend here that doesn't want to leave. He's probably very, very tired today and very dry. Every other tree seems to be handling the wind just fine. It's just this one. This one, you can tell it's kind of rocking back and forth in its root ball, and I need that to stop. So we're gonna do my least favorite thing in the world and put a T-post in. I've decided to do this in the greenhouse so I could have a little bit of cover, but I've got my supplies. It's a T-post, a little bit of wire, tree strap, and a post pounder. I'm just gonna take, this used to be part of a fence. I'm gonna take this apart so I can use the post again. Oops. Occupational hazards of being a vlogger. Okay, let's get this taken care of. Jeez. Here we go. Cool. I didn't make the wire long enough. Okay. Don't pre-cut your wire. Stop. Well, there's no telling if that actually saved it or not. It's been rocking in the hole for quite a while, so I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't make it. But at least the winds can't really get to it anymore. At least it's not pulling so far on that right-hand side. I would say with the crazy wind that we have right now, it's mostly a wind. There's no other plants that are really suffering. So it's the next day. The wind has finally stopped, and we're supposed to be getting some rain in a few hours. So I want to get some gardening done. But the first thing we're going to do for my feathered friends is to fill up our fountains, turn them all back on, and make sure the bird baths have water as well. I feel really bad for the robins. They were tricked into a false spring just like we were, and they returned pretty early, and I feel like the period that we're in right now is bits and pieces of winter. Like, we're gonna get down to 13 degrees again on Saturday night. Then the week after, we're jumping into the 70s, so you never know. Okay, let's see if this thing isn't fully frozen up. I hadn't been running this for a few days, and it looks like the vernal pool is doing exactly what I wanted it to, which is to dry up over time. So if ever it gets really mucky and nasty, I have that option. I can just turn off the fountain. So with rain coming, I want to make sure that I finally get some fertilizer on this garden. Before I work on that, I've got a little bit of cleanup in this bed here. So this is kind of a big front entrance bed, and it's got a few clusters of perennials in here. So the first thing I have in here is Geum triflorum, or old man's whiskers, or prairie smoke. It's a really cool native wildflower that I just kind of masked in here. Hard to see it now, but that is Limonium latifolium, or sea lavender. Produces a really beautiful cloud of extremely tiny baby's breath type flowers. I've got clusters of allium in here, and I'm pretty sure that this is either Summer Beauty or Serendipity, and I lean towards it being Summer Beauty. This woolly plant here is called pine leaf penstemon, and it is another one of our natives. It produces really cool kind of red tubular flowers in the summer. They don't look like much now, but these are Liatris spicata kobold originals. And let's hope that they actually take this time, because last year I had a rabbit infestation that mostly killed all of them. I have a very evergreen chunk of Penstemon digitalis, and this variety is called Pocahontas. Really, really beautiful pink sort of flower. And it produces really, really ruby red seed heads when it's done. This dead looking plant is a drift of Walker's Low catmint, one of my favorite catmints for big impact. This will just be covered in sky blue blooms and filled with pollinators. Super important plant in my landscape is Caradonna salvia. This is the nemorosa, Salvia nemorosa, that I really, really enjoy because the calyxes are colored as well. So even when the plant is either out of bloom or just coming into bloom, it's very attractive. And it's very upright, it does not flop for me. Where all these snowdrops currently are is where an entire carpet of Zagreb coreopsis is gonna come up. Looks like nothing right now, but I have actually dug in there and I see that I have little starts coming up. And lastly in here, this is Centranthus ruber, or Jupiter's beard. Red valerian is another common name for it. And this thing just produces so many flowers in that beautiful kind of carmine red color. So before I fertilize all of this and all my other perennial beds, I want to get this taken care of. Well, that filled up a full trash can. And it does look pretty flat now, but there are signs of spring. So many signs, let me show you. So here is where my Zagreb coreopsis is starting to come up, and it's hidden underneath the mulch right now, but I just kind of dug it back and yeah, it is coming up strong. This is an extremely exciting development. So this is called foxtail lily, and we've had such a mild winter, and when I moved these last year, they were kind of going into flower, so I didn't know if I had killed the bulbs or not, but here they are coming back strong. Just gonna put the mulch right back over that. So this is a native yellow currant, and it's growing out of this salvia. I don't really want to do that, but what's really cool about it is that you can see that it emerges with red leaves, and that's because these plants are tolerant of cold, and so they pump their leaves with anthocyanin pigments, which are your reds, your purples, your blues, and that acts as antifreeze so that they can handle these pretty rough, spring days. And it's red with the currant, but these columbines, they emerge a bright plum purple. Looks like I have a bunch of weeding to do in this bed, but I'll take care of that on another time. But it looks like I also got to get some mulch on this bed too, or else I'm going to have a pretty bad weed problem. So the fertilizer I'm going to use today, and it's for all of my beds, it's not plant specific. What I'm looking to do is actually feed the soil before it starts raining and it starts breaking into that upper layer. And to let you know the reason behind that, let's go inside. Now, caveat, when I recorded this next session, I didn't realize at the time that I was getting sick. I was getting severely dehydrated. So if the energy is a little bit down, you know why.
All right, let's discuss soils. So I've created this simple little drawing that shows you the top of a plant, in this case it's a tree, the soil line, and the interface between the tree, the soil, and the roots. The roots are generally going to be sort of kind of like that wide area just underneath the tree, and generally not too deep either unless it's a taprooted tree. But in this instance, we're just going to say that it's right beneath the soil line. So let's add energy, which comes from the sun. So you can see here that shines on the tree. The tree takes that UV energy, mixes it with water to create photosynthesis, and those sugars and other sort of minerals in the process get stored back into the root system down here. And what happens is it can be stored around the fine root hairs down here as what are called exudates. And with those exudates is the storage of carbon. So it will continue to store carbon around those fine root hairs, along with other minerals and materials. But if this was the only thing that this tree did, using the material that it had around the base of its roots, it would run out of those micronutrients and macronutrients fairly quickly because it only has so much reach. So this is where soil mycorrhizae come in. Mycorrhizae is a fungus that lives in symbiosis with the roots of plants. And what it asks for in return is a little bit of that sugar and the carbohydrates that are being produced by the plants. But what the mycorrhizae do is greatly increase the ability by linking up and creating these giant sort of highways, very straight tubes called hyphae all throughout. And it links up with all the others. And these tubes can go quite a distance, and then they can meet up with other plants. And so you end up having this resource network that is able to expand over the course of an ecosystem. So mycorrhizae are incredibly important. And the thing is, they're in our native soils already. They just will slow down if there's nothing for them to feed on, or if it's an area that hasn't been planted in a long time. And in addition to mycorrhizal fungi, there's other soil microbes that are working to improve the quality of your soil based on the fact that they go through periods of living, expanding, and then dying. All of the remains basically become cavities in the soil, and that's how you improve your aeration and penetration. So to do that, you have to give them something to break down. And that's where organic fertilizers come in handy. But organic fertilizers are not simply feeding the plants. What they're doing is, let's just say that this is organic fertilizer here. In my case, what I'm planning to use is coop poop. So these granules, until they're actually broken down by soil microbes and various fungi, are not bioavailable to the plants yet. And the process, the reason why they call it slow release fertilizer, is because they're waiting for those soil microbes to break down and make that nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium available to the plant later on, as opposed to a synthetic fertilizer, which will act very quickly on the plant but will do nothing for the soil at large. So in my case with the coop poop, it uses what's called water-insoluble nitrogen, which is just a fancy term for hasn't been broken down yet. In terms of the fertilizer that I want to use, it's ammoniacal urea, which is ammonia, which gets broken down into nitrites, which gets continued to be broken down into nitrates. Nitrates then become soluble to the plant and can be taken up through the roots. But during the entire process of breaking down that material, you fed your soil ecology. What ends up happening when there is material to feast on, you end up with this bell curve of microbes in your soil. So they grow and they grow and they grow and they grow, and then once they have exhausted that resource, down it goes again. So in that process of having a population boom and a population bust, there's been all this activity in the soil, all these microbes are living, and expanding, and then all of a sudden they're dying. So you end up with pores, little spaces in between all your soil particles that improve aeration and drainage and all that good stuff. And that's how you get to a point where you have really good sort of crumbly soil. So it's a bit of a long-winded answer, but that's why I choose the fertilizers that I choose. And I want to end with a caveat that I am not a scientist. I listen to information and I try to translate it into normal speak. So if I got anything wrong and you let me know, I will make retractions and all that, but I'm pretty sure that this is sort of the basis of the science. We're always told to go organic and to not use synthetics, but why? And this is exactly why. It's because you want to build a healthy soil ecosystem, because that will make your plants more resilient, and it will also improve your water holding capacity and your nutrient holding capacity in your soils. And that's way more effective than putting synthetics on your plants every year.
So I'm not sure if in the end I explained that all that well. It was a little bit clunky, but I call it the Jim Putnam method. Jim Putnam from HortTube. He is a fantastic educator on all things plants and all things soil. And it was really encouraging when I recorded that a few days before he put out his fertilization video, which you can see right here, that basically I had the science correct, that it is your fertilization doesn't have to be difficult. What he really said that kind of illuminated my mind and kind of broke open my brain a little bit is you're not planting plants. You're plugging plants into a system. And when you really think about it that way, in which you've built this beautiful soil web, you've done the work, and then all you have to do is plug in the things that you want, and they kind of take care of themselves. That's a really cool idea. So this is kind of the first year that I'm actually doing this, and I'm really trying to feed my soil so that my soil microbes can take care of all of the additional fertilization and the nutrient uptake and water conservation and all of that. So let's get to it. Woo! Oh, it stinks. Take a bit, spread it. Don't worry about covering plants. This one has less of a dust, so it's definitely more pelletized. And even the areas that don't have plants, go ahead and get fertilizer on it, because there'll still be soil microbes in there, and they can still pull water and nutrients and all that, even if there's nothing living there. A good solid hyphae network stretches a long, long way. It's why forest floors are their own ecosystem. That fungal network is absolutely massive. That's all I wanted to get done today. It is definitely getting colder, and you can feel the humidity rising. So that's gonna do it. If you're new here, consider subscribing. And I wanted to take this time to thank all of my early adopters on this channel. You guys have been incredibly generous and sweet, and it's been really fun to get this going. And I hope you stick around and really see the potential of this barren space right now. But until next time, I'll see you later, guys. Bye. Hi. Hi.
you enjoyed today's video, I've got another one right here for you. And if you want to keep up on the journey, go ahead and hit subscribe. See? She thinks he should.